Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Attack on Titan, or you could call it Shingeki no Kyojin, which will be my final recap and final impressions on Season 3 Part 2, or just the entirety of Season 3. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We have to it that the meeting of the commander with Historia and everyone else after finding out the truth that the world is actually their enemy, along with the information found because of the information found in Grisha's basement, they been deciding whether or not to reveal this to the public or keep it private. But unfortunately, Pixies asked and commented, "Are we just going to deceive everyone after all we've been through and after all we put there?" But in hell for all this, I think they deserve to know the truth. Even Historia agrees and says we must announce it to everyone. The sacrifices and blood that was shed or was given, it must be given to the people, and they must know the truth of what King Race, or should I say the Race family, was been doing. Eventually, as time continues on, they announced everything of what they found. Some found it as it's a thing whatsoever. Others don't believe it. Many believe that it's just a theory that's not worth mentioning. And some of them took it what it is. And eventually we see to it that it does become chaotic, and there will be a scene where people who survived against the Beast Titan will earn the medals. And of course we see Hitch talking to the others, seeing how they're doing, and we see to it that John decides to tell Hitch about what happened to Marlowe, and he was brave to the end. But Flock gives him the more better details, but thinks Marlowe might have regretted it of having to join the Survey Corps. This actually caused a little small argument with Flock, Jean, and everyone else, especially when Flock says we have to tell the truth. I mean, think about it. I mean, many people believe Erwin should have survived, but you, of all people, Eren, Levi, just allowed your own freaking emotions get the best of you, and Eren was actually very close to wanting to beat the living hell out of Flock. I mean, it was a really heated argument because, what just happened? Coney tries to break it up by saying, "What's done is done, dude. We can't just bring up the past and cause any more issues with it. Of course, Flock says otherwise by saying, "We have to tell the truth sooner or later." I mean, it's to stop cowards like me or something from joining the Survey Corps and not to recruit any more people who's more bound to die anyway. Although Armin does agree with the fact that Irvin should have survived instead of him, because he does not know what can happen here on out. But Eren tries to convince Armin, "Hey, look, I don't know what you're talking about, but it doesn't matter who may have survived or who may have died. But the future is filled with many possibilities, and we're not so sure about that." So it got a little bit to a point where it cooled down for a bit, of course, and even though Levi was overhearing the conversation, he tells the brats to line up as it is time. Eventually, they receive their medals, and Eren would later on about to kiss Historia's hand and looks into the memories about what his father was trying to do to the Race family. He will later on ask them for help to stop the Titans from causing any more pain and misery. But we get to see one of Historia's sisters, or should I say older sister, which I forgot her name. Well, later on would look like to me she struggled to try to speak something, but all of a sudden her eye color changes, which brings up about what happened in last week's episode. That's if you even watched it, and of many episodes at the very beginning before that. Eventually, 1 year later, of course, all the Titans will later on be annihilated, and as time continues on, the scouts decides to go beyond the expeditions for Wall Maria, and they end up taking a look of what is beyond that wall. Eventually, Eren will later on know that there will be that wall where the aliens gets turned into Titans and go terrorize the other people from the wall. And they eventually reach the section where it is called the beach or the ocean. Armin will later on pick up the seashell. Everyone will actually be awed by the salt water and sea or ocean that they are taking a look at. Even Mikasa is actually feeling a little shocked and cold by the sea. Of course, Armin and Mikasa was very happy to see this, as Armin says there's more to it beyond the sea, you know? But Eren believes being beyond the sea is actually freedom, but there's actually enemies, thanks to his father's memories. He even asked a question: if we kill all of our enemies, will we truly be free? And therefore, Eren can only look on in like a sad state, as he believed what he thought could be true, but it's actually something else, thanks to his father's memories. Eventually, there will be an emotional ending theme that will involve like Eren looking out to the window and Armin holding that same seashell in possibly in a building somewhere, and the episode ends off there. Now, this episode had a nice finale, emotional one in a certain sense, depending how you even look at it. And as for the entirety of season 3, I gotta say the action scenes with its fighting, along with the music, was actually done very well. I mean, like, there was one scene that was cut out of the adaptation, which I really wanted to look forward to. But, you know, it is what it is. You can't really get much of what you want anyway, eventually. And some of you anime onlys may ask me what was one scene they cut out of the entirety of season 3, and I mean part 1 and part 2 of season 3. And I'm pretty sure some manga readers might forget too. There was actually the one scene where Levi actually has to tell Historia to become queen. That much I could tell you, and later on he would force her to become one. He would later on try to pressure her to become one. That was just one scene that was cut out, though it's not much of a big deal with the way I look at it, but I would have loved to see that scene to be adapted anyway. But yeah, aside from that, the adaptation of season 3 was actually was well done in part 1 and part 2. In terms of action, music, and entertainment wise, they actually did a good job. In terms of like how the story is, if I was an anime only watcher, I'd be pretty shocked and pretty impressed by it, but not too much to a point that it deserves its overall hype. But let me tell you guys something. This is not the end. If you guys always been keeping up with news and everything else, you will guys understand and realize that there will be one more season of Attack on Titan, the final season, to be aired next fall 2020. Yes, the final season of Attack on Titan will be aired in fall 2020 next year. Pretty shocking, right? You don't believe me? I'll be sure to have the link in the description down below for you to take a look at. And with studios, if you guys been hearing rumors about leaving Attack on Titan, that's not happening. They're gonna finish what they started from the very beginning and make sure to give it the grand finale it deserves, which I'm very happy, because it will always be upsetting when there's a certain company like I'm taking up this series and later on will have to leave it because of bankruptcy or for some other ridiculous reasons. But you know, it is what it is. But yeah, that's the announcement I will tell you. I'll put the link in the description down below if you don't believe me about the announcement of Attack on Titan's new season. So if anything else, I mean, so overall, the entirety of season 3 had a lot of crazy moments with its action and art, along with its animation and music. Pretty well done. So what would be my score overall? I say entertainment wise, in my own opinion, it could be like 8 out of 10, I believe. I mean, in entertainment wise, in terms of like music, adaptation, animation, art, and that's about it. I mean, when it comes to the story and everything else, I gotta say it's pretty interesting, but it felt a little like strange. But I guess that's just me. So, like I said, and repeating myself again, there will be a final season of Attack on Titan, but it will not be aired this year. Next year, on fall 2020, it will be aired. So, I am expecting preview videos or like trailers to be released in the future when the date gets closer to that fall 2020. But we'll have to see. So until then, I'll see you guys in the next video. I'm Alpha Zero, people. Have a good day, and I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toot toot.